The king of the contested ball, and he's always working against James Bradbury. Those two very familiar with each other. You see Mike Evans trying to run a double move. Bradbury, good vision back to the quarterback. Able to get out of it on the double move and get himself back into position.
So that your players got used to the tempo, but communicating the calls really wasn't an issue because we used to practice it so much that, and Buffalo was using it and on a full-time basis there for a few years, and you get surprised with it. Sometimes it bothers you a little.
Hey, what's 33?
They finally took the shot, right? They took a shot downfield, got the incompletion. Now when they get it to third down, they look for 80. The speed. Yeah. Is that a purple? I've never seen a purple. That's a new move.
It was a slight vertical leap. I mean, that's just a dagger, right? It's good coverage by the Giants. I mean, you kind of got what you want, like Coach said. And you give up a run to Tom, who is not looking to run. Tom, the best thing he does, he keeps his eyes downfield, looking for Gronk, looking for Evans late. That time the seas just parted. He took advantage of it for a big third down conversion. That's frustrating to a defense. Right? That's a bit of a backbreaker. There's the screen again, Coach, as you said. Giants didn't blitz that time,
They must like that down there. That's 2 or 3 of those quick screens they run down in close. But the Giants now have to be thinking, try to hold the 3. Try to keep it to 1 score. Let's not give up 7. And that's where you got to perform in that red zone, and that's a difference maker in a lot of NFL games.
Yeah, Memphis has been so good on first down. Okay? I mean, they're getting 6 and 7 yards every first down, and so even when you they finally get a good play on second down, you get a drop. It's still 3rd and 4. They're not stuck in 3rd and 8s and 3rd and 10s. But the last time Brady ran for the first down here, so there's a big 3rd down right here.
That's one of the most annoying things, right? No pass rush. Defensive lineman's not even close to the quarterback. But because of that, they get their hands up and bat the ball. Batted ball should be illegal. It should be banned from the NFL. Stick around concept, right? He had Godwin on the out. He had Evans on the quick stick. Evans does a good job moving Evans around. Coach, instead of just keeping him outside, we need to double cover him and put him inside a lot where he can get 2-man and still get those outbreaking routes.
Yeah, I like him. He's a big physical receiver, and he has good speed, and they know how to use him, and Brady has confidence in him. You can tell that. But this drive isn't over yet. This is where it starts to get stickier and stickier for the offense if the defense can just kind of hold the fort here.
It was always hard, I thought, first and goal from the 10. Right, you can't get a first down. You got to get 10 yards. It's all tight right there, and that's what you need. First down production for the Giants. Get an incompletion, and now Tampa, they're kind of in a stuck. They might not want to run the ball right here. If you get 5 or 6 yards, you can run on second down. 2nd and long here. If you run and don't get much, you don't want to be 3rd and goal from the 7 or 8 yard line.
Hey, Coach, it seemed like when you were coaching, teams weren't going for it on 4th down as much. I mean, right now, Tampa is probably in 4th down territory, and they're kind of thinking about that with their play call. That's kind of a new thing.
Well, it's 3rd down and 10 now, or 3rd and 9. They only made 1 on that off tackle there to Fournette. So this is the big play of the drive right here for both teams. It's either going to be 10 to 3 or if Tampa can get it in here 14-3, and then the Giants are looking down a long barrel.
I expect the Giants to drop 8 guys into coverage here. Only rush 3.
Yeah, that's what they've done. That's what they've had success. It's dropping 8. Just takes a while. You got to find guys kind of winning late. The good defense there. Good defense.
You called it. Coach, you called that's a win for the Giants defense, right? That's a win. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Now, if you want to put the cherry on the cake, let's block the field goal here, and then everybody's happy.
Coach, defense, not letting win this after this field goal. Coach, we got some serious questions coming up. We got horse racing questions and Phil Simms questions. So please stay with us after this commercial break, after the field goal.
Well, the Giants, they got a long drive, and got to settle for the field goal. So overall, they'll take that.
The Mercedes-Benz Winter Event. Get a credit towards your first month's payment on select models.
The new Popeyes mac and cheese tastes just like home. With a creamy, cheesy inside and crunchy golden brown crust on the outside. It's the home-cooked taste we all need sometimes. Try it today and earn Popeyes rewards points. It's Walmart's Black Friday deals for days. Score a $69 air fryer and get other huge deals all week long. Shop Walmart's Black Friday deals for days.
Inspired by the true story. What you do about it? This is not the Ghost Gang. Come on, have a driver, Archie Woodlow, Jeremy Irons, Al Pacino, There's a Virginia Woodar.
You want a great team? You gotta build it. Piece by piece. Start with a few natural-born leaders. Then you need some old vets who've seen it all, and a few youngsters just getting started. Tough cookies who don't back down from nothing. And some pranksters to keep everyone loose. You need those strong but silent types. And a few not-so-silent types. Those with chips on their shoulders and ice in their veins. And a few who do anything to win. You find a cast of characters like that, you've got yourself one hell of a team.
Everybody's streaming. Trev, this Disney Plus now?
You're very motivational as a coach. It's a great clip of you chewing Phil Simms out. It's one of my favorites. But in today's game, you hear the term player-friendly coach. Do you think your coaching methods would have worked with some of these modern-day quarterbacks?
Probably not. I was a little abrasive from time to time, but when I first started, I had Phil Simms. I had the exact right guy because he wasn't afraid to fire back at me, and I was lucky to have him. He's one of the main reasons why we had some success as well. I am going to talk to. I'm going to talk to the administrators at ESPN, though, fellas. Here we go. It's a Monday night game. They're bringing me out of mothballs, and they send me two retired celebrity country club going quarterbacks to do the game. Come on. How we gonna score?
Yeah, but dude, Parcells is on with Eli and Peyton. He's like, you put me with two country club.
Shut up, Simms. Now don't be a no-class player. Hey, Sim, I'll run the game.
That's funny shit, man. Hey, Phil, Simms, shut the fuck up, is what he said.
I wouldn't have seen it. I told you. No, I wouldn't have seen it. I wouldn't have seen it. That'd have been You guys used to have to wear a different colored practice jersey, right? So nobody would touch you in practice. What I want to know is which one of you in your career had the most tackles, if any?
I think I took more interceptions, so I think I probably had.
I had 4. I had 4 tackles.
What about you,
I think
Eli?
I had more. I felt like I had more. I was pretty good tackler. When we started drilling the tackling in practice, I knew I had a problem. That I was throwing too many interceptions.
That's funny.
It's a bad drill to work on. Good pass rush there by Sue. Pretty good hit on that.
Dude, that's a good broadcast. That's a good broadcast. I like it. Wouldn't you rather hear? My wife says this all the time. Wouldn't you rather hear from Phil Simms? I mean, from Eli Manning and them dudes? Hey, Trev, that stream show is killing it. It's fucking killing it. Hello? Hello? Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Chris. Yes? Hello? I'm doing better. Street me great. I think I'm going in for acupuncture. Yeah, because it's been brutal, Chris. I thought it was fried rice and all right, Junior. Uh-huh. Oh man, thank you, dude. Man, it's been brutal. Oh god, it's just been brutal. I haven't had like a decent day in like 2 weeks, and we got to do something because it's affecting everything. I hear you. I know you have. like that. Yeah, yeah. I'm reading everything I can on sciatica. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're about ready to do that. I mean, like Chris, like I could I could go any day. Yeah. Oh my. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and get this. And 3 days later, you're like down for the count. Oh. I got this. Yeah, a little bit. No, you can. You can. I need you to. I need you. I need you to. Okay, now see, now what you're trying to do is light a fire, which is a good thing. Always do. Way to push the right buttons, Christopher. Oh man, I know you are. You guys have been amazing, amazing. I couldn't ask for a better play. I just couldn't. Oh right, yeah, yeah. You think we can only do an hour today? I'll do the greatest one you can. But know this: we're working all the way until Wednesday. Is that right? Yeah, yeah, right. So we're gonna. Oh, that's great. Let me put this up here then. Okay, because I want to be able. I'm gonna pound this out. God, thank you. I do want your remedies though for sciatica. Yeah. Good evening, America. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Hope all had a great weekend. And welcome aboard. The happy hour of radio. Holiday week in our country. Thanksgiving Day on Thursday. Such a great time of the year, the holidays. I love the holidays. I really do. People get a chance to put their differences away, get a chance to watch even more sports because, hey, by the way, just in case you're keeping score, attendance has been off the charts for college and pro football. The ratings have been through the roof. Nothing has challenged it. It is really one of the greatest years in falls I can remember in sports. Television ratings have been crazy great. College football, my God almighty. By the way, Michigan, Ohio State this week, I'll be watching that game. You know, when I was a young kid, that game meant everything to me because that was really the first game, along with Nebraska, Oklahoma, that made me want to be a college football player. I saw all those fans at Lincoln Memorial where the Cornhuskers play and then the Horseshoe and the Big House. All those places became like cathedrals to me. Man, can I maybe play in one of those places? Man, what a dream. And as a kid, you're watching this stuff. Those places are like, they're iconic to young kids who, who aspire to want to do something like that and want to do something great like that. I never had a chance to. Well, I did. I did play in the horseshoe. I played when I was in the World League. And I played against the Ohio Glory. That's right. I forgot. I played at the horseshoe. Played at the big house. Man, just got a chance to play in Norman, Oklahoma. Never got a chance to play in Lincoln. But I played against Oklahoma. Such a great time, man. I was watching the college football games this past weekend. Just a crazy year in college football. It's going to be Georgia than everyone else. NFL, I can't tell you who the teams are. I really, who do you think is the best team in the National Football League this year? Can you tell me? Chris O said in my ear, the Detroit Lions. Yeah. Well, they may have the most heart this year. They're playing hard this year. What's that? Well, not really. Not really a perfect record, Christopher. They do have a tie on that blemish. Okay? They do not have a perfect record, but I'll tell you what. They play hard, man. They really did. They played hard against the Cleveland Browns this past weekend. And you know what that also shows me? Guy may not have a win this year, but you know what? The football team hasn't quit on him. Oh, yes, that's correct. I will definitely do this because it's one of my favorite leagues of all time. The very first champions of the USFL, the Michigan Panthers, are back along with the Tampa Bay Bandits, the Memphis Showboats, I believe the New Orleans Breakers. I'm doing this off the top of my head here. The New Jersey or New York Generals. I believe the Pittsburgh Maulers. I believe the Philadelphia Stars are going to be all part of the resurrection of the USFL. So we're going to have spring football. And with logos we remember and logos in a league we liked. That's going to be fun. Fox, and get this, Fox is putting the money behind it. That just shows you spring football? Really? Spring football. What does that tell you? It tells you that people have a massive appetite for professional football. And get this, right after the Super Bowl, they're going to kick this bad puppy up. Yeah. How about this? See, and that's a good point, Chris, because this is actually going to be something that's not going to compete with the NFL this time. That's a great point. You see, when the USFL first came out the first time, they were signing Herschel Walker. They were signing Jim Kelly. They were signing Reggie White. You're not going to see any of that this time around, and there's going to be no competing. And that's why also, Chris, that Fox is getting behind it. Know something here about why would a network get behind a new league like this? Why do you think, Chris? Why do you think a television network wants to get behind something like this? Or how about this too? These television rights are going up so much. I mean, we're talking now in the billions of dollars when we're talking television rights. Let's just say hypothetically that there's a massive appetite for the USFL, and all of a sudden Fox, who's now a major contributor and partner to this thing, grows this thing into something that can actually be on its own in the spring, and we have another sports league here. Or maybe guess what? The only reason Fox is doing this, Chris, is because they're not going to do Thursday Night Football next year. It's going to solely be on Amazon. And so they took that $3 billion and now they're going to pump this thing into the USFL. And this is going to be something that they're going to present to the fans. Let's not forget something too. In 2023, the XFL is also going to be going back and forth. So could we one day see the champion of the XFL versus the champion of the USFL kind of have something that we had in the early 70s between the AFL and the NFL? That could be something on the horizon. that kind of leaves the CFL out. But we'll talk more about that. But that's a really great story that really is starting to really catch a lot of steam, because you know why? You have logos you know the history of. It's really, really a great idea by Fox. I'm watching Tom Brady tonight against the Giants. You know, folks, do me a favor. Anytime you get a chance to watch greatness, I don't care where it is, what it is, whatever sport it is as well, take as much as you can of it and digest it. You know, the one thing I wished I watched more Michael Jordan games. I just took it for granted. When you see somebody like that, a Tiger Woods, you know, I saw Tiger swinging and he was practicing golf shots, and I saw it on his Twitter page. I'm like, oh my God, 2022, Tiger's going to come back and he's going to make a go at it again after that horrific car accident. That's fantastic. That's setting up another story coming up in 2022. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Tiger, new spring league. Sports is absolutely projecting great things to come, man. And the reason why I also think that it's become really successful this fall, it's been because there's just been too much out there of other stuff. The Rittenhouse case, that case going on in Georgia, those are ugly stories, man. By the way, may I say something, and one last thing about the Rittenhouse case? Both sides, stop taking victory laps and stop condemning other people and stop calling it what it's not. It's got nothing to do with race. It's got nothing to do with that. Zero. But Republicans, do me a favor. Stop taking victory laps. 2 people were killed. Nobody wins in this. That's the part that I hate. What are you taking a victory lap for? It's like everybody, oh, you see, justice. Justice? Really? And I don't care what those guys' criminal records were. I don't care. There's no winning in this. There's no winners here. There's no winners. That's why, like I said, my sandbox, just give me a whole bunch of that sand, and I'm happy with it, man. I love it. That's why when I'm talking to you about Brady here, I'm just going to take it in. I'm just going to soak it in, watch it, and just absolutely just remember it too. I've said this to you before. He's the greatest 1-0 guy I've ever seen. You know, then I was watching Baker Mayfield on Sunday. It was funny. Chris was just talking about that game. And Baker Mayfield doesn't want to talk to the media because he sucked out loud in that game. You know what's funny about that? You know what true champions do? That would have been a great moment for Baker Mayfield to do this. You know what that would have been? Is to sit here and say this. You know what leaders do? Let me show you. Yeah, man, my team won in spite of me. I'm pretending to be what Baker should have did. You get in front of the microphone and you address the media and you say this. Yeah, you know what? Hey, my team won in spite of me. You know, our defense stepped up. Our running game did. I was just terrible in this game. And we still found a way to win this game. I'm so proud of my guys. I'm sorry I let my guys down. I'll be better, and we'll be better, and we'll move on from this. Remember something, when you play pro ball, there's no style points. This isn't college football. This isn't something where you have to, like go out there on the runway like you do in college football and beat Cincinnati and go, whoa, you know, we really had a great game against SMU over the weekend. You know, style points don't matter in the NFL. You can win a game 3-2. No one cares. It's a win. It's a W. That's all you're gauged on. But Baker Mayfield did this. He didn't want to talk to the media. He didn't want to address the media. Then his wife gets on social media and goes, I wish the rest of his teammates were tougher and as tough as he was. It's not helping. I personally think Baker Mayfield is the worst example of what a starting quarterback is all about in the NFL. That's a guy that's not a leader. That's a guy who's a follower. By the way, there's certain people in business and in sports that are the engine. And then there's certain people in sports that are the caboose. Guess which one he is? There's people that lead out front, pulling all those cars. Then there's people that have to be pulled along. Those are the people you hate. Those are the people you don't want in your building. Don't want guys like that. You want guys that are out front leading, especially when you're talking the quarterback position. By the way, the Baseball Hall of Fame ballot came out today. It's the last year that Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens will be on that ballot. A-Rod's also on it, and so is David Ortiz. David Ortiz will probably get in because he's a media favorite, even though there were questions a little bit about PED use. I'm not one of those guys because nobody's ever proven it, so I don't bring it up when it comes to David Ortiz. A-Rod's a different story. But Bonds and Clemens, you know what's funny about them not being already in the Baseball Hall of Fame? You don't have a Hall of Fame unless you put those two dudes in. You're incomplete. Because baseball's story is incomplete. Are you just trying to say because you're not going to put them in the Hall of Fame that you're just going to erase the memory of Clemens and Barry Bonds? You can't do that, friends. Fans aren't stupid. You have an incomplete Hall of Fame. Hey, throw Pete Rose into that. You have an incomplete Hall of Fame. The sports writers in that sport have made their vote into a joke. I don't care what you think of Bonds and Clemens personally. They were two of the greatest players ever to put on a pair of spikes. Well, their PED, folks, PEDs, amphetamines were all used in baseball for decades. Some big-time jobs in college football open. We'll talk more about that Hall of Fame ballot. We'll do it next. Keep it here on the Sileo Show. Hey, Chris, sciatica, what'd you deal with? How did you deal with it? Yeah, I have. I do. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you think it's inactivity? Huh. I never thought about me being inactive any longer, not working out and such like that. You think non-stretching too, Chris? Huh. Yeah. Stress. I never thought about it being stress. Horribly. Sides. Right side. I'm on my left side. I sleep on my left side. You know what? That's the sciatica side. Yeah. No. Yes. Mhm. You know, my aunt said me wearing flip flops. Huh. You're the third person that has said that to me about flip flops. Yeah. Gotcha. Yep. I think you're right. I think inactivities made it happen like that. Well, we're gonna straighten this out immediately. Like, let me just tell you this, Chris. When I do that stream show, I have like it feels like bees are because I stand doing it. Yeah. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. We're going to take a look at week 11 of the NFL at the bottom of the hour. Some insane times. By the way, I've never seen the NFL this competitive. I mean, every week it's different. COVID playing into it, injuries. We're now at that time of the year now. And then there's going to be a stretch run. Some teams are kind of just in it right now. I just don't really think that there is a spectacular team this year. There's just not really one of those teams you're like, wow, that team's just great. Bills got destroyed by the Colts. All right, let me finish this up here. So why isn't Curt Schilling in the Baseball Hall of Fame? World Series MVP, iconic moments in Boston, 200-plus wins. That's going to be the new benchmark in baseball. You understand you're never going to see a 300-game winner in your life ever again because baseball has been changed. You will never see a 300-game winner again. It's not going to happen. They don't pitch long enough. Organizations are building their teams around middle relief and closers, not starters anymore. Look at what Tampa does. You're never going to see a guy go out there and put 7 or 8 20-game seasons together. That's just not going to happen. The new benchmark is going to be like 16, 17 wins. Guy will hit 20. Syndergaard will have one of those insane years. But they like guys today to go 5 2/3. 5 2/3, give it off to the bullpen, get to your closer. Good night, let's go home. That's why the games take 5 hours too. All those pitching changes. Years past when I grew up, you were taking the pill from Steve Carlton. That guy was going 8 2/3. You might get a guy get in there and Tug McGraw would come in for an out. Those guys were not coming off the hill. Plus, they were schooled not to come off the hill. Guys aren't trained nowadays. Go out, throw 100 miles an hour, right? As long as you can, and then they're going to go to their bullpen. You're never going to see 300 wins again. So I say that to you. How is Schilling not in? I think it's a little tick above 3 when it comes to his ERA lifetime. He won in Arizona. He won in Boston. He's a legendary pitcher. One of the great postseason records, too. Oh, that's right. It's politics. This is what happens when you give votes to writers, and writers think that they can add a narrative into their vote. Curt Schilling's politics have nothing to do with whether or not Curt Schilling is a Hall of Famer. Zero. It didn't in the past. You got Klans members that are people who were in the KKK. I mean, you have people with suspect history. Go all the way back to Tris Speaker, Rogers Hornsby, all them guys. They were notorious racist, including Cobb. And so Clemens is being engaged because he's a Donald Trump guy? Wow. You talk about low-thinking, browed people. That has nothing to do with with the respect of what that guy did when he was out there towing the rubber. Zero to do with it. That's not your place. You put that guy's Hall of Fame ballot in your hands. And because you didn't like him being a Republican or Democrat, you kept him out of the Hall of Fame. Okay. Really. That guy's truly one of the great big game pitchers of all time. You know what's really cool? Kurt Schilling follows me on Twitter, and I've had a conversation. He goes, I can't believe my career is in the hands of people who are gauging me on things that have nothing to do with baseball. I said, it's a sin, dude. Week 11 of the NFL. We'll hit on it next. You keep it here on the Dan Sileo Show. Nice. I'll do bookend here. I'll do it at the front end here, and I'll do it at the back end with what do you call it? Yes, yeah. God. Okay. Oh, yes. I'm going to text you something. Let me ask you what you think. Okay. No. Yeah. Yeah. Cookie thing. Yeah, because I don't want to, because I'm not yeah. I don't want to. Yeah, I'm going to do the brownie. That's a good call. Yeah, I'm gonna work on that this week, and because I really, you know what, I've done chiropractors before. I don't know. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Yeah. Yeah. Hey. By the way, off subject here. I think they're going to run all your programming in Orlando on Thursday. What do I need to explain? Yeah, I think so. I don't think people are working on Thanksgiving. Well, he said something to me about it today, Stevie, the PD. That's great. Man, I love. There's, it's funny. The people that live in Vegas, you have. Did you have to get all those cards like me and Kim did? Like we had to get the sheriff's cards and all that. I had to get that and like a thing to cash checks card and all that. It was really okay. Yeah, we had to. I had to have two separate cards. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Just really a great time. Great time in sports right now. By the way, Monday Night Football. Hey, if you're in the Phoenix area, make sure you do me a favor. Get over to see my great friends at Hooters. Monday Night Football is the best way to wind down after us really starting the work week out, and especially the holiday work week. Just roll into any one of the Hooters. Don't forget the rest of the week. It's going to be all football, too, as we get into the holiday part of the week, right? It's your football headquarters. Enjoy $10 burgers and $3 Bud Lights during the game tonight and all throughout the games this week. It's really a great place. So make sure when you go in there, you have yourself a great time. They've been associated with me for over 35 years. Hooters has been part of my broadcasting and my professional football career. Can you believe that? When I first started and I got to Tampa as a Buccaneer, Hooters was a local restaurant. And that's why the colors were the original Buccaneer colors. The white and the orange. They were the original Buck colors, the creamsicles and all that. And so when I went in there and when you were a Buccaneer, what they would do is Ed Drotsky, the founder, who I'm dear friends with to this day, he would give you these lifetime Hooter cards. And they had these grouper sandwiches. Oh, my God, man. It's just absolutely sensational in the steamer. So, yeah, that made that really cool. And it was part of my whole gig, man, for like years and years. Yeah, Chris, I got a lifetime Hooters card. So when I walk in there, 50% off everything. Who? I will tell you a little bit. I'll tell you what. I saw a little bit of that stuff. It happened in Detroit, and he swung back and hit the guy in the face. It wasn't malicious, but it got to a point where these two guys were going back and forth, and he busted his face up. There was blood. LeBron's got to sit a game. First time in his. Do you know what? I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think Wilt ever missed a game. And I know Jabbar got suspended when he broke a guy's jaw. I think it was Rudy T's jaw, Rudy Tomjanovich. He broke his jaw. And that's the first time LeBron James has been suspended and will miss a game. That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, that group they have up there right now is nowhere in that Lampier group. uh, let me just say this to you. If LeBron James had done that, what he did to like Rick Mahorn, or would have done that to Lambier or to Rodman, I'm going to tell you this. Oh my, those guys would have tore LeBron a new one. You know what? There would have been, they may have suspended that entire team because that team was scary good. Do you know the only guy to have a winning record versus Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and Michael Jordan in the postseason? Do you know who that is? It's Isaiah Thomas. Does that shock you? And then one thing about that team too also was there was really no other superstar that was a two guy. I know Joe Dumars. Joe's a great player, but there was no Scottie Pippen on that team. And for what Isaiah did, when you're going against that Celtics team with Larry Bird and Kevin McHale and Danny Ainge and Dennis Johnson, all them guys, man, Parrish too, all them players on that team. And then the Bulls teams, for what they did and what Isaiah did, Isaiah Thomas may be one of the most underrated great players in the history of the NBA. I mean, he beat great teams, and they were a tough team, man. That was one of my favorite. I compared them to the Philadelphia Flyers and the Bobby Clark Flyers back in the day when they used to just beat the piss out of people. They didn't care. They would beat up the Oilers or they would beat up the Islanders. And that 2-year run where they won those back-to-back Stanley Cups, that Flyers team, reminds me so much of what that Pistons team was all about. I love that Pistons team, by the way. And Lambier's a Notre Dame guy. Hey, man, let me just say this to you. Al Davis loved that team. I know he did. Al told me he did. All right, let me get on to the NFL here, week 11. I mean, I want to show you guys something. Okay, tell me this. Who's the best team in the NFL right now? Let me see. Well, the Cowboys just got killed by the Chiefs. Who else? Packers got beat. Let's go down the list here. I'm going to make a point to you. And I'm not kidding you. I really don't know. Ravens go into Chicago with a backup quarterback. I think the guy's name was Huntley. Okay? They end up winning that game 16-13. I'm like this. Okay, so they're 7-3. How are the Ravens with Lamar Jackson when he's healthy? Yeah, they're good. Are they great? No. Browns are 6-5 in a tough game against the Lions. Lions, I told you, man, playing hard, even though they're 0-9-1. Probably not going to win a ball game this year. Hey, you want to hear something interesting too? All 6 teams that will play on Thanksgiving all lost over the weekend. How's that for you? So going into Thanksgiving, you're going to see a sense of urgency with these teams because they all lost over the weekend. Packers and Vikings. This was a very entertaining ball game. Vikings even their record to 5-5. They're good. And watch this. Here's the Packers, 8-3. 11 games. Do you think they're the best team in the NFL? Probably. Aaron Rodgers threw for 385 in the losing effort. Kirk Cousins may be the most underrated quarterback in the NFL. 341, 3 touchdowns. Dalvin Cook just a tick under 100 yards rushing. That kid Jefferson for the Vikings is fantastic. Fantastic. How about this one here? So the Titans versus teams that are playoff contending teams, you want to hear something? They're 6-0. Against the Texans and the Jaguars, they're 0-4. Texans get them. They beat them 22-13. The Texans. I really love Tyrod Taylor. He only had 107 yards. Ryan Tannehill threw 4 interceptions in that game. They're 8-3. And you're like this. Are they the best team in the AFC? I think. This is really a weird year. Like, look at this thing here. How are the Bills 6-4? I was saying the Bills may be the best team in the NFL a couple weeks ago. Now they're 6-4. And the Colts beat the bejesus out of them. 41-15. Carson Wentz only threw for 100 yards. This kid, Jonathan Taylor from Wisconsin, had 4 touchdowns, 185 on the ground. He was spectacular. What's happened to Josh Allen? Holy cow, man. He was playing such great football, and all of a sudden, they've taken a nosedive. Pretty crazy. This is really the weirdest year I've ever seen in the NFL. Competitive? Okay. I'm calling it weird. Competitive? Maybe it's the same. I don't know. Tua Tagovailoa. Let me say this to you. Kid from Alabama. They kept trying to push this kid out the door all year long. Deshaun Watson talk and all this, and the owner came out in his idiotic ways. They were barking about, we love this kid Watson. Let's see if we can make it happen. He's actually played very well. Dolphins are at 4-7 now. They get a win over the hapless Jets, 24-17. But Tua's playing well, man. He's getting better. Here's another guy getting better, another Alabama quarterback. And my stream show during the day, I do a lot of Eagles. And this kid, Jalen Hurts, just continues to get better. He's unconventional. I'm not going to say that he frightens the Cowboys in the NFC East, but I will tell you this. I'm watching this kid play, had 3 rushing touchdowns. He just finds a way to win. And his leadership, I just love it, man. And a Dennis Allen defense, they ran for 245 yards on 50 carries in that game against the Saints. That's a football team you're not supposed to run the ball on. They were only giving up 73 yards a game going into that game. And the Eagles just blew them off the field. It was pretty impressive watching it, too. 49ers back to 500. It's funny, Jimmy Garoppolo, everybody in San Francisco wants to replace him with Trey Lance. Why? Kyle Shanahan has to win ball games. He's got to win ball games. And they take out the Jags. Trevor Lawrence is struggling, but who wouldn't struggle in Jacksonville? But that's really a great story. They've righted the ship there in San Fran, and that's a pretty tough team. They beat the hell out of the Rams last week, and 49ers playing some good ball here. How about this Washington team with this Tyler Heineke guy? 206, 3 touchdowns. They beat Cam Newton in Charlotte. And this is coming off of the fact that, they just beat Tom Brady the week previous. 27-21. Is Ron Rivera not a great coach? He is so good of a football coach. Man, I love him. Here's a place that's notorious for losing. Cincinnati, another place. Joe Burrow has changed the landscape in Cincinnati. Joe Mixon's playing great, 123 on the ground, I think, something like that, 123 or 125. 32-13. The Raiders are 5-5. I'm stunned they're 5-5. Oh, I got to tell you guys, I think you're going to like this. I reported this earlier, and I'll do it again. It looks like Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders, is going to push all his chips in and try to get Bill Cowher out of the broadcasting booth at CBS to become the new head coach of the Raiders. Keep that in the back of your mind. They're going to do everything in their power to try to get Bill Cowher out of retirement to coach the Raiders. And it would have to be total control, which would mean that Mike Mayock would be fired, the general manager, the current GM of the team. And he would have complete control. So, again, I heard it last night and I heard it this morning, that Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders, is looking at potentially hiring Bill Cowher as that's their number one priority in the offseason, is to try to get Bill Cowher out of retirement to coach the Raiders. So Cowher already in the Hall of Fame. It'd be a great coup if he was able to get both those guys out of retirement, out of the broadcast booth. You got Gruden out of the broadcast booth, and you've got Bill Cowher, 2 great Hall of Fame coaches. By the way, John Gruden is suing the NFL and Roger Goodell. You want to hear something crazy? College football programs have reached out to him. And there's a lot of big programs that have openings. USC, LSU. Okay, Florida now. They just fired Dan Mullen. And know this, those jobs all pay $7 to $8 million a year. So would John step down to one of those college football programs and coach in the SEC? If you had a shot to hire John Gruden, would you? If you could take the backlash, Okay, if you could take the backlash, it's funny. You have a guy in Houston, Texas. You have a guy in Houston, Texas right now that's got 23 rape charges against him. He's still in the league getting paid. But Gruden's out, right? All right. Hey, folks, do me a favor. We'll finish this up here, week 11 of the NFL. Podcasterwarehouse.com, especially during the holidays. This is a great place for you to go and get gifts. If you're trying to build a home studio, podcasterwarehouse.com is your place. 25% off. That means everything on the website. Okay? Microphones, processors, everything that you need. They have it there for you. This is your one-stop place. By the way, shipping is free as well. So podcasterwarehouse.com. That is podcasterwarehouse.com. We're going to finish at Cardinals. Oh, and I do believe that this could be potentially the final year for Pete Carroll in Seattle. I'm going to hit on all of that. Cowboys had a tough one against the Chiefs. We'll finish up week 11 of the NFL. So much more news, my God, during this great time. You keep it right here on the Dan Sileo Show. Interesting. Okay, go on. Expand. Huh. Does alcohol do that? Does alcohol have any bearing on that? Okay. No, I'm not. I don't even take aspirin. No, I don't do any of that. Yeah, no. Probably so, man. I know that. Out of the can. Actually, you know what? The ravioli is actually great, and I love this. I love the O's. Those are great. I used to eat that stuff cold out of a can. Yeah. Wait, get this, with pliers. Chris, I think we're a lot alike, dude. Oh, I know. Frightening. Yeah. Huh. Wow. Weird. I actually think it's sexy too, in a way. I don't know. Well, they would totally hate me then. They would totally hate me then. Wow. I just heard sciatic pain is better than being married. Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. Wait, I better keep it down. Yeah. Or guess what? I'll be eating Chef Boyardee out of a can. Oh man. Done it. Been there. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network, man. We've been talking a little bit about Week 11 of the NFL. I waited to get to the Cowboy game, too. I want to get to that now. So, Cowboys are sitting at 7-3 now, and they get beat. And I was funny. I was listening to many of these sports so-called, like, talking heads today about the Cowboys. And they were like, oh, yeah, typical Cowboys. They just go, no, it's not typical Cowboys. They had musical chairs in the O-line in this game. Amari Cooper didn't play because of COVID. Okay? They were injured on the defensive side, too. There was no Randy Gregory. And get this. Okay? They won the turnover battle, did the Chiefs. And you're sitting there thinking, okay, you barely kind of beat the Cowboys. So if the Cowboys are full throttle, I don't know. I'm okay with Dallas dropping this game at Arrowhead. Okay. Was that good? No, he was not. Did they get pressure on him? Yes, because of the O-line. Ezekiel Elliott, once again, had to have his face put on a milk carton. Nobody knew where he was. He was kind of injured. I thought basically he got hurt early in that game when he twisted his ankle. I thought I saw that injury and I'm like, he toughed through it. But I'm okay with Dallas. People were going like this. And here's the thing that I couldn't understand about that Dallas game, which really made me really think about the play calling of Kellen Moore. What was the one thing that the Kansas City Chiefs had trouble with all year long? Stopping the run. Why did Dallas go away from running the ball? The Chiefs have not stopped anybody. So what did they do? They just started throwing the ball and winging it. And it's such a classic example of the modern day offensive coordinator today. When you fall behind, what do? You just start chucking the ball down the field. In my opinion, if Dallas would have stuck to their guns and stuck to their identity is running the ball, which opens up play action back. They didn't help Dak in this game. He had weapons that were not available to him. And at the end of the day, they kind of turned him into a one-dimensional football team. In Kansas City, too. That was going to be a proper remedy. I was really suspect of Kellen Moore's play calling. I'm watching the game. I'm going, run the ball, dude. I mean, you turn Chris Jones, the defensive tackle, number 95 for the Chiefs, into a Reggie White player. I couldn't believe how well he was playing. He had sucked all year long. People were running the ball right down his throat. And the Cowboys got away from it. No wonder he's under heat today. That was not a very well-constructed game plan. When you've got limited people on your roster and you're going into Arrowhead, what's the one thing you could do? And get this, folks, so what, you punt? So what? The Dallas defense held that Kansas City team who scores 34 points a game to 19 points. You need to win that game. You need to win that game. Dallas's defense had a spectacular game. They were spectacular. You held Patrick Mahomes to 19 points at home with Kelsey and them dudes. Man, it was clearly on the play calling and injuries. It all went in hand there. You see, that also has to play a factor into the head coach. Why did the head coaches go like this? We need to run the ball more here. Not a very well-constructed game plan. If I was Jerry Jones, I'll tell you what, I'd be walking away from that football game going like this. I think we kind of shot ourselves in the foot in this game here. I don't really think we put our best – that was not Dallas's best effort. All around, too, by the way. I still think they're fine. I do. I think Dallas is okay. I still think they're in the top 3 in the NFL when it comes to the best teams. I think the Buccaneers are right there. I think the Packers are right there. All right. Man, there is so much more to hit on. We'll reset. You keep it right here on the Dan Sileo Show. I love you, man. Talk to you tomorrow. Thank you, brother. Bye.